Yeah. What? Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The borough complied with the notice provisions of Sunshine Law by adopting prior to January 10th of this year tax collector municipal court zoning official. A motion to approve. Second. Presentation. Two. So I'm going to read out a proclamation and then that'll be followed up. I'll explain that what's happening. These representatives kind of come up and I'll read this to you all and then we'll just kind of transition to the second. He will be with committed work and historical and on the dedication, professionalism, and courage of the members of the Congress of the Department. Whereas the Department mission is to your safety, security, and effective policing, strong community partnership. Whereas the Department is doing the state and secure community for the rights, history, and culture of every individual are valued and respected, where a high quality of life is maintained through fairness, equity, and collaboration. And whereas the members of the Congress Police Department exemplify their core values of service, integrity, respect, and compassion, provide professional and ethical service, treat all individuals with fairness and demonstrating empathy in their interactions with the community. And whereas these officers serve with honor and commitment, often under challenging and dangerous circumstances, continually working to build trust, strengthen relationships with the community. Whereas May 15th, recognized nationwide as National Police Officer Day, a time to honor law enforcement officers for their service, solemnly remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice for life and duty, whose courage and legacy will never be forgotten. Now, therefore, the mayor, commissioners, and borough administrators of the borough of Conklin, of East Hampton, State, New Jersey, do hereby proclaim May 15th as National Police Officer Day in the borough of Collinswood. We encourage all residents to recognize and thank the members of the Conklin Police Department for their dedicated service. And honor and remember those fallen officers to be alive. The ending the dance floor introduced users. We've been reaccredited just in the last month, right? Towards 2000. So we have a representative here that will give some brief remarks and all our please be reaccredited and then send this to you. And we'll have them be here.
And this, first, let me thank you for the opportunity to recognize the study that knowledge, our safety is correct. There's a lot of time to be here. So, be fair to take care. With that said, I am Harry Modell, I am the director of the Information Program Association of Chiefs of Police. And ACP, my own here tonight to recognize the police department being reacquitted. I was speaking with the advice maker, and she asked me how many. And reality, about 54% of all police departments in the eligible to apply for accreditation of the State Association. 84% have made it. It's a very good process. But when you consider that the departments that actually have been accredited, that percentage drops to about 32%. So it's quite an achievement by the Collinswood Police Department. So if you have those minutes, I'd like to share with you the significance of the achievement. So the Collinswood Police Department has been documented best practices at the national level in a highly regarded statewide law enforcement accreditation program. This program administered to the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police and the New Jersey Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission has held to transparent and demonstrate professionalism, transparency, and preparedness of state's law enforcement agencies, the state's public safety system. Accreditation is more than just a professional distinction. It is a strategic investment in organizational excellence. It positions law enforcement agencies to operate at the highest levels of professionalism while enhancing public trust to residents, promoting long-term operational success. Now, this prestigious reaccredited status demonstrates deep character, firm commitment to state and national standards, continued expectations of quality, professional, and placing of the Commonwealth Police Department. So it is evident that the Commonwealth Police Department has seen many years represented here tonight. Continue to move forward following best practices, a preparedness plan, and a verification of excellence. So it is our opinion. The assessment team, and that the assessment team that the Commonwealth Police Department is a highly professional and committed agency which exemplifies all of the tenets of law enforcement at the state and national level. Therefore, again, I say this indeed my honor here tonight, accompanied by the Executive Director of the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police, the New Jersey Law Enforcement Commission, congratulate Chief Kevin Carey, Accreditation and Deputy Chief John Klein, the members of the Commonwealth Police Department, Mayor, the Council, and those citizens that they so proudly serve for having achieved their re-accreditation and demonstrating a firm commitment to excellence in police. So, all indeed, congratulations.
My name is Ed Schwartz, I'm the Director of the State Association of Chiefs of Police at College Park. Really, really proud to be here tonight for the presentation. It's home game at Walt. I wanted to just mention with that, the commissioners for that proclamation. National Police Week was established for the presidency of John Kennedy. It has been a tradition in America since the Kennedy administration. So we asked our association. It's a very important day in the law enforcement world. Several of us will be in Washington, D.C. Camera digital coming up there this month. We really appreciate it. And just to follow up on Mr. Delgado's remark, Harry is our program director for accreditation. He does a tremendous job. His evaluation of hearings means so as a result, I'm very proud. The achievement incredibly. He speaks to the personnel wanting the leadership achieve Harry as well as the so congratulations to all of us in college, but thank you for everyone else achieved. Chief.
Whereas Jewish immigrants to America, ever since their first arrival to our shores in the 16th century, have played a central role in creation, growth, freedom, prosperity, and strength of the United States of America. And whereas the biblical and contemporary history of the Jewish people and the enduring values of the Jewish faith were vital towards the inspiration for the founding of the United States, civil rights movement, America's global leadership in the cause of freedom, America's commitment to social justice, and many of our country's most central tenet. And whereas Jewish American Heritage Month is a month to celebrate contributions Jewish Americans have made to American history, society, and culture for over 350 years. And whereas for 43 years, every president of the United States has declared a period of time for celebrating the contributions to the United States of the Jewish community's history, heritage, and culture since 2006, the month of May has been declared by the president to be Jewish American Month, pursuant to bipartisan resolution of Congress. And whereas we are reminded that the vibrant culture of the Jewish people has not always been embraced, and a country where diversity should be cherished and protected, Jewish communities continue to deal with hostility, hatred, and narrow-mindedness. And whereas Jewish Americans have been a critical part of the American story, greatly impacting the cultural, economic, and intellectual advancement of all people, even while in the face of discrimination and adversity. They have shaped our nation and have helped steer the course of our history. Now, therefore, the Mayor, Commissioners, and Borough Administrator of the Borough of Pond, County of Camden, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as the Jewish American Heritage Month.
Laura, citizen residents.
My name is David Ross, and I'm speaking on behalf
There we go.
of Jewish Community Relations Council of Southern New Jersey, including my colleague, former JCRC president, Sarah, the Jewish Federation Assistant Director of Planning, President. And also JCRC Executive Director, Inspector. I want to thank you, Mayor, Commissioner, everyone who provided for this proclamation and for your continued support. Also, Laura will join the dozens of others after us, including Hill, Voorhees, and Heights, Audubon, Delmar, among others, in adopting a resolution recognizing IH water and working definition of services. Finally, we also look forward to seeing you and perhaps some of the officials at our Federation Fest 17. Thank you.
That resolution's been sent to us. I don't think it has been. Is it reading?
Last year, it probably was said, happy to say.
Okay.
And we'll answer the questions you have.
One more. You got that. Perfect. Very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Second reading and public hearing of ordinance 1831, appropriating funds.
So we will be later on in a couple minutes be adopting our budget, but this is the last transfer to be able to essentially continue operations. The budget is the public comment period for that. If there's any questions, comments on this? Seeing none.
Yes. Commissioner Henderson Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Solano.
Yes.
The second reading and public hearing of ordinance 1832, amending chapter 283, tree replacement fees.
So we are increasing the fees for tree replacement. As we're just completing our first full year of the tree application, when you take down trees, whether depending on all the reasons you need to take down a tree, we just want to be able to know about it. Sometimes if it's an invasive tree, if it's a dead tree, there's no fee, nothing happens. But if you take down a perfectly good live tree, there is a replacement fee, and the fees that we had beforehand were not enough to actually buy the replacement. So these fees are going to more accurately reflect what it would cost to do that. So that's those changes. That hearing, if there's anybody that has any comments, this would be the time.
Okay. Commissioner Henderson Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Solano.
Yes.
The second reading and public hearing of ordinance 1833, amending chapter 141-76.1 of the Borough Code to establish regulations for outdoor dining and food use.
So with COVID, the state allowed a lot of pop-up outdoor situations. And then the state decided that those could become permanent. What that did was put some businesses that weren't in operation during COVID at a bit of a disadvantage because they were able to use outdoor spaces the way that other businesses could continue to do so. So we decided to do something that would be a little more equitable, create a process to make sure that these outdoor spaces are still safe and still allow for pedestrians to pass through and to make sure that there's many things that could make walking by any more difficult. This is what we're doing tonight. This is the second reading. If there's anyone who has questions or comments about this ordinance time.
And just to go off of that, this ordinance deals with some zoning issues in town. So typically when you are adopting an ordinance that modifies any type of zoning rules in town, you have to send it to the planning board before you adopt it at your commissioner level. So this ordinance was referred to the planning board for review to make sure it was consistent with the borough's existing master plan. The planning board got back to us, let us know that they did believe it was consistent with the master plan. They had a few suggested edits. They were really minor. They incorporated it into the instance of the out.
Commissioner Henderson Riley,
Yes.
Mayor Solano.
Yes.
And we have a second reading of public hearing of ordinance 1834, amended the Borough of Rollinsford developmental regulations as to add definition and permit of massage establishments.
So likewise, this was also something that the planning board considered at their meeting last Monday. Because of something that happened in town probably about 10 or 15 years ago, we had kind of a blanket no on anything that had massage in the title for the business. Now it has come to our attention that there are many establishments in town that are therapies that have licensed masseuses, and that's part of their therapies. And essentially what this does is instead of having to automatically go for before the planning board, if that's the kind of business you operate, there's now going to be a process that with proper credentialing, that's something that will no longer have to go before the planning. Make it easier for a business that has proper credentialing to open up. We used examples from nearby towns that have similar ordinances to shape our zoning. And this is the second reading of that for public comment. Yes, sir.
Larry DiGiovanni, 745 Eric Avenue. I remember that 15 years ago. That was a nail salon. They were doing some extracurricular activities. Anyway, these people required to have a license by the state of New Jersey. Okay, so it's actually for therapy, massage, and things of that nature. There are people who have problems with their body, their back, whatever. I mean, that's relevant to what it would be for something like this. So that's, that would be something necessary. A little bit different than the other thing. As long as they're licensed by the state, that shouldn't be an issue. Thank you.
And that's a requirement of the new
Yes,
ordinance.
exactly.
No more comments.
Commissioner Henderson Riley,
Yes.
Mayor Solano.
Yes.
And then we have the first reading of ordinance 1835, amending chapter 141-14 to revise the inspection fee schedule to match the municipal land use law provisions.
So this is an ordinance that was brought to our attention by some of our borough engineers. The current fee schedule for some of the inspections are not precisely consistent with the municipal land use law. In some situations, it seemed like the borough was charging less than what was required. In other situations, it seemed like it was requiring more. So this modification is made to precisely mimic the requirements that developers need to post with the town in escrow for professionals to bill against to do inspections.
And how often does the municipal land use law, how often is that updated? Is this something that is updated so that maybe they updated and we didn't, or like how did we get to?
we'll just need to keep our eyes on it. I utilize the exact site in the municipal land use law, so if it does change in the future, its notifications should carry with it. Right now, what we charge is either minimum of $500 or 5% of modifications that are being done, so that can vary greatly depending on what you're constructing. Again, it's typically for inspection and escrow fees, so our borough engineers, they typically bill against this amount, so the taxpayers aren't paying for a private service to do these inspections. It's the developers who are technically paying for the borough to do these inspections.
Does that make sense to everyone? Because we have a municipal engineer that we pay for services that comes out of the tax, right? So if the parking lot behind Ocean Bank, that is going to become a. So we use our borough engineer and their team to make sure that the design of that parking lot does proper stormwater drains, and that the lights aren't going to be shining in people's windows and things like that. And that comes out of the pool of what we pay for professional services. What this is doing is making sure that it's happening on private land, and the developer is then paying an escrow. So they're paying for the hours of our borough engineer to do those reports and do that analysis. So it's not coming out of the pocket of the taxpayer and coming to the bill of the borough, but being paid directly. So that's what this piece is. The public reading for that will be at our June 1st meeting.
Commissioner Henderson Riley,
Yes.
Mayor Solano.
Yes.
The following resolutions. Well, first we have the public comment resolution.
Any public comment on any of the resolutions that are listed? Seeing none?
We now have the public hearing on the 2026 municipal budget.
What I'm going to say right now, we have our CFO here tonight. We're going to approve the budget.
We have the public hearing on the budget.
Okay, so we've now had the public hearing, so we can't go to this one yet. We have to introduce that first.
No, you need to have the public hearing on the introduced budget. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you're gonna amend the budget by doing a resolution. Then you have the public hearing on the
Okay.
resolution. Has been right order.
Yes, it does. Okay. So the reason you're about to hear an amendment on the budget that we're introducing is because you give the 1 minute, just so people understand why we're amending or then introducing it all at the same time. Sure.
So, we're having a public hearing on the introduced budget, and then they're going to adopt a resolution on an amendment which moves a portion of an appropriation inside the cap. So the budget is subject to an appropriation cap. It can't go over a certain percentage. And there's an appropriation that was outside the cap, and the state of New Jersey reviewed our budget and said that appropriation is inside the cap. So because of that, we had to reduce a separate appropriation and reduce the surplus that would take the budget. So it doesn't change the tax rate, it doesn't change any official appropriation, it's just moving it into the budget. It's a different part of the budget. Now it's within the cap. So that makes sense.
And we're also seeing there's some changeover at the state, of course, with the new governor, a lot of new teams. So this is something that this is the first season of going through municipal budgets. So there's something that our auditor thought it would be all right to have it. It was police cars. Police cars, we took what we spent on those, we put them outside the cap, which in years past has been something the state has approved. This year, the state did not approve that, so we had to move it back in. And we did not hear about that until this morning. So Betty's been very busy to get that in because we've been trying to make sure that we can have everything to the state in time. So that is why you're hearing the revision as well as the adoption. Sorry about
So
that.
that was a public hearing on the introduced municipal budget.
Okay.
So now we are authorizing the amendment to the 2026. And then I'll do a roll call. Okay. Commissioner Henderson Riley,
Yes.
Mayor Solana.
Yes.
Now we have the public hearing on the municipal budget amendment. Which was just explained.
Any public questions on that very clear presentation we gave you all? Any other one?
Now we have the adoption of 2026. Now, roll call. Commissioner Henderson Riley,
Yes.
Mayor Solana. Then the emergency contract for sewer line repairs and sewer rat onshore solutions.
Yeah, that one explains itself.
Approving a change order from Pearl Asphalt Company for the Upper Boulevard Water Main Beautification Project.
Yes.
Accepting the 2025 audit report and signing the group affidavit.
Yes. I would like to say that we passed our audit report with no questions and no congratulations to letting know their finance office on a tough year, everything that happened, because they're looking at everything that happened last year. So a lot of the things that happened in 2025, a lot of you did that jump through. So thank you so much for your hard work on that. It was great. So you're great for minutes.
I'm sorry. With contract to Kisby Shore Mechanical Contractors, the HVAC College Center, area. Yes.
Yeah.
Appointing Megan Paskey to the Township Board of Health, as Township Board of Health representative.
Yes.
Of the Board of Education.
Oh, yes.
Representative.
So, Kelly Maya was the former representative from the school board to the board of health. She is now the president of the school board, so judging us from things quite cool. She reached out to the rest of the school board and hearing this was interested in taking the position.
Authorize the Borough Council to grant easements to the property owners at 137 Park Avenue, lot 121, lot 3.0.
Yes.
And approving the payment of bills as presented by the treasurer.
Yes. Yes. It's that makes sense.
But I guess twice.
No, there's the second page has. I heard there's that.
I have several comments this evening and updates about various things, so bear with me, it's a busy month and busy time of year. First, I wanted to put the spotlight just for a moment on Superintendent of Public Works, Steve Diorio. Steve, can you give us an update on the first half? Please.
So those of you who have been paying attention, this update has happened many times already, and I'd like to remind everyone how we're processing. Thank you. So short of a long speech again, they had to do sort of our information with us, the process. They have to sit for a week. Bigger spots, we'll see them doing smaller projects, but the bigger area that they need to retake sub-base has been extended. So they will start top coating next week.
Thank you. Hopefully this is the last update. But I appreciate it. I have several updates of exciting things happening at Collinswood Library. On May 6th at 7 p.m. is the Collinswood Book Festival Volunteers meeting. Have you ever wondered what it takes to plan the longest running, largest book festival in the Delaware Valley? Please join the Collinswood Book Festival Volunteers at a monthly meeting. On May 13th at 6:30 p.m. is the gardening swap. Do you have any leftover pots or seeds that you no longer need for your garden? Are you looking to get some new supplies to inspire your next gardening project? Come to the gardening swap at the library. Here's how to participate. You can bring any clean, gently used gardening supplies such as pots, small tools, seeds, and more. And you can stop by Youth Services to drop off your supplies between May 1st and May 8th to receive an early bird ticket to the swap on May 13th. Anyone is welcome to shop at the swap and take home one bag of new gardening supplies. Please bring one bag. And you can see the library's website for more information. Don't forget that the library also offers free seeds through the Seed Library, which I have visited. It's right by the front door. It's available every day this spring. It also includes spices. On May 28th at 5:30, the library will host a local youth trio with your child's homework meeting room. So those are the updates from the library. Update from our fire department, the study with the consultants is underway with some site visits being planned. So some good progress happening there. So many thanks to all of the members of the department who are working hard to data, reports, all of these things. So that's underway. Our farmers market began last weekend. We had a wonderful opening day. Many thanks to Goodman as well as Lindsay Ferguson, other volunteers who helped make that day as well as the rest of the season. On May 9th is the townwide yard sale, which was put together by the Collinswood Civic Collective. That's from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. May 17th is the rescheduled Buy Nothing exchange. That's in the bucket park. You can drop off from 10 to 12, and then the exchange will be from 1 to 2. Just the 1 hour? 1 to 3. 1 to 3. Take it out, type 1 to 3. If you're thinking about pocket park, the deadline for the mural application, which we discussed at the meeting before, that deadline is coming up Tuesday, May 19th at noon, which is very exciting. Perhaps most exciting for this month is Mayfair. This is the 45th year of Mayfair in the borough of Collinswood, and that will be held on May 23rd. Such a wonderful event does not happen without the help of many volunteers. You can sign up on the Mayfair website as well as on the so have lots of events. Save the date for next month. Our Juneteenth Borough celebration will be on Friday night, June 19th, which is Juneteenth, and it's an evening program. That's from 5 to 8 p.m. Huge news, the annual swim sale for tool tags is 1 p.m. late, and this is starting soon. Monday, May 11th, so Friday, May 15th from 9:30 to 4, as well as Saturday, May 16th from 12 to 4 at Borough Hall. This is the discount week. It's a full week, so come during that week or on Saturday to get the discounted pool passes. It's $250 for a family, which is $50 off if you're a Collinswood resident, or $550 for non-Collinswood families. It's a limited time offer. It's just that week. Folks usually put this on the calendars to make sure you get the pool passes. Still have more, so I've got some more things. Summer camp online registration opens May 18th at 11 a.m. I'm in town. I have office hours this Friday at 9 o'clock. As a reminder, these are at Borough Hall. Anyone can come to talk to me about anything. So come chat with me. In addition to recognizing Jewish Heritage Month, there are several holidays in May which are noteworthy. First is Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Month. So just taking a moment to acknowledge the contributions of those folks, both in our community and across the state. This AA and HPI group, of course, is a diverse range of people and cultures. And similar to earlier remarks from this evening, we know that there in recent years has been a rise in anti-Asian hate racism, and we fully commit ourselves to having Collingswood be a place where everyone is safe. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week. If you're paying attention to things, it is a hard time for our school district here in Collingswood. We're happy to be partnering with them on several things, and we're really grateful for the teachers and staff. So public asked to please make sure to thank teachers and staff. Those are hard jobs, hard times at the school, but we're really grateful for all of employees. And this Wednesday is School Nurses Day, which is often, so I'm very grateful for school nurses. Memorial Day is this month, so of course we have a long weekend, but do hope you can take a moment during your barbecues, etc., to honor and mourn those who have given their lives while serving our wonderful country. So please take that moment. And then the last thing that I wanted to acknowledge is that this Sunday, May 10th, is Mother's Day. So I wanted to acknowledge all of the maternal figures that are in our community, which includes mothers, grandmothers, stepmothers, foster moms, adoptive mothers, maternal figures, and those who wish they could be a mother. The job of being a mother is often unappreciated and is very hard and unpaid work. Just look at this table. You have, Jim is not here today, but you have 4 working mothers at this table. This is really notable to have 4 women at this team, as well as the borough team. That includes a lot of mothers who take time out of their schedules to serve you in the community, including Lindsay, Cass, Betty Jo, Gretchen, Michelle, Terry Seeley, and more. I can't think of now. As well as the partners of folks who work for the borough, like Mary Kay and others. It's a notable day to notice these maternal figures and mothers. It's hard but worthy, and it takes a village. So I just wanted to say thank you to all the mothers.
Amy covered a lot, right? So the second quarter taxes, we're still in the grace period, but they were due at the end of last week. I just want to make a public reminder that if you have issues with your tax bill, if you have any of those issues, concerns, to come to the borough administrator, send information, send something to the commissioners. But the borough staff does not send these things, and I'm sure it will be frustrated, and times are hard, and we understand that. But we still need to treat each other with kindness and respect. If you have questions, we're going to answer them for you. We'll try to connect you with the resources as best we can, but there's nothing that borough staff can do to change what your tax bill is. So just walk into that building with as much. They're going to treat you with as much empathy as they can, but we want to be mindful of their time and the fact that they're also just doing their job. Likewise, we're in that season where everybody is trying to plant things and fix up their gardens and get yard waste ready. So if you are one of the people working on getting new pavers or a new deck, zoning is bumping right now. We are still well within the time that we have mandated that we have to get back to these applications, that we have to get back to the homeowner. Gretchen is working very diligently. So once your application is in, she will let you know as soon as it is ready. Any time that she has to spend giving you an update on where your application is less time that she's actually able to move forward and make progress with applications. We want to make sure everybody's yards are ready for the summer, for the warm weather, but she needs the time to do that. So just to keep that in mind. We had our youth, so even though the Buy Nothing was moved because of the rain, we had a youth clothing swap, and we had over 40 attendees. but all left with a big old bag of clothes for their kids. A lot of people asking them to do it again, so the Green Team's really happy with that turnout. Hoping that maybe we can make this a seasonal thing that people can rely on to get even more buy-in, more attendees. You got the Civic Collective with May 9th event. May 23rd is Mayfair Facility Volunteers. Volunteer list is looking real thick. I will be there from 6 to 8. I can say that Hannah Culinary makes some really delicious breakfast burritos, and you get a t-shirt. So come hang out with me in direct traffic, or come afterwards in the evening shift. It's DPW's out there as well. Just help them clean everything up. We bring what, 50,000 people? So 50,000 people come to our town. So it takes a second to get it back up and running. So on Sunday, it looks like had again. Any help that we can get from individuals, that would be greatly appreciated. Likewise, the last update I have is we're going to be doing a Rock the Block event, Habitat for Humanity, on June 13th. That's the same day as a Pride-themed Rock the Block, where Habitat is coming in. We have a couple of sponsors so far, so we're going to be able to do, at the very least, 12 homes on the west side. And we're going to be working all day on upkeep, like some painting, landscaping, maybe some ramps, external things. So if you live on the west side, and we've identified specific streets, working with the Wisconsin revitalization committee, and they help us identify which streets. It's not one block; it's a block, but it's several blocks. We're identifying. You have to be a homeowner, but if you get information about this application, it is not a scam. It is real. It is free. You do need to fill out the application. If you have any questions, there's a contact on there. Kelly McGinnis can vouch for us. She's a part of the committee to get this event up and running. And we're gonna have a t-shirt for this event, and they make it for every specific. So this is Collinswood's Rock the Block. The Collins Civic Arts and Design Council is going to be accepting designs through May 17th. So if you have a design, if you're an artist in town, and you'll get credit on the shirt and $200 in college cash. So we want to make it a competition. We want to invite our local creatives to make a design that embodies pride, embodies revitalization, embodies community work to take care of our neighbors. So keep an eye out for that. If you have any questions, email me or Lindsay. We have the banner out with the flyer and the design instructions. You'll see it on social media and on our website. And I think that's it for me. So now,
Richard Klingerman, 743 Maple Terrace. At this time last year, it was brought to our attention that the crosswalk at Haddon and Collins Avenue was to be changed. This past week, I was hit by an automobile while I was in the crosswalk, and I had to right away. So I hope they do that very soon.
Are you okay?
I was shooken up a little, but no bodily harm.
I'm so sorry. That intersection was in our continuing report. Cass, would you like to comment on that? Yeah, it's a key on the project that we were going to design. We needed one to get that flag. There was a winning bidder, and it'll be awarded if it wasn't already. Then we'll go into pre-construction with them in a couple months.
So it'll still take a little bit of time from there, but it's good news that they've awarded a contract for this one. And moving forward with it. And we'll be following up with some public outreach on the redesign of it and things like that.
I have another question here. You had the adopting of the budget, and I didn't see anything about it anywhere. And I wanted to know what the average increase is for homeowners.
162 a year. 162. That's the local part is 162 a year.
For
For the municipal portion of the tax.
yes, but what on average homeowner?
Average home of 450,000.
Okay, thank you.
month we talked about a podcast, correct?
Yes.
I had a question, but since everything was going on with the lumber yard, anyway, Larry reached by himself, find out. I want you to explain what the podcast is about. Okay, so I can get a good idea why we're spending $6,000.
Sure, I haven't seen a contract yet, but we're working on it. The idea is to promote our business district and vitalize economic development.
Okay, so.
Yeah, there were previously videos by Jim. Did you ever see those videos?
They were like years ago.
So long. He did many throughout COVID and other times. It was a great way to reach the public on various, whether it was during COVID, et cetera. But the idea is to really promote and get money into town and promote economic development.
Okay, so you think you're going to get, in other words, spending $6,000, you're going to get into the concern.
That is certainly the hope. We have wonderful businesses in this town. We know that different seasons come and go, and we really want to promote them as well as what's going on in town, civic engagement, get volunteers for different events, how does government work, how can you come talk to us, that kind of thing.
So basically, the podcast is going to consist of yourselves.
And I think highlighting individuals in town, businesses in town, events that are happening, yes. The idea is.
Well, I'd like to see when we're spending that kind of money. $6,000 doesn't sound like a lot of money. But the thing is, when you're spending it, if you're getting something in return, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I support the business in the town. I believe that the business, without them, we don't have much of a town. And that's my question. I wanted to bring it up last month, but like I said, everything going on.
And also, so like before Jim had them, they were on YouTube, right? It's also during COVID when it's like, we're gonna be getting into a studio to get professional help in editing. But the hope is that by doing it with this method, it's much easier to reshare on social media, which, isn't everyone's vibe, but is a way for people to see these snippets and like listen to these 30 seconds of like, oh, did you hear about? And that's something that can travel further and can last for longer than just the update tonight, right? That's something that can go viral, that can spread, that can be easily reshared by the county. So it's just something that's a little more polished and easier to get out there.
If it hits YouTube, you're going to get a lot of hits on it.
Oh, and once we have it recorded, it can also go there, right?
And if you go there, but that brings money back too. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we also are partnering with a local company, Macomb Media, that's right here in town. So it's money also that comes right into town. This isn't anyone external who already is working with the borough. If you've seen recent videos, et cetera, that are really well done, that's done this company's work. So the idea is it's edited, it's flashy, it's well produced. Let's bring people to our.
And we also have money in our budget every year. It's in between our budget and the bid budget, on the partners, right? It's for so. I think they started about 3 years ago. That was all our money.
I don't know where this is budgeted from.
Okay, this one's from. Okay, so the borough the past 3 years has, and maybe 3 years ago it was aerials of Mayfair, right? Trying to capture all of our big events of Mayfair, of the holiday parade, and having a lot of B-roll. Because once you have that, then you can build shorter promos and things like that. So the idea this year is going into more specific businesses and highlighting and having the great, but you have to kind of build that up because first you have to have the aerial footage and night park and see the whole town. Because we're doing it in a way that's trying to be as fiscally responsible as possible. We didn't do it all in one swoop. We did a chunk here, trying to get deeper each time because the more detail we have, the more footage that we have to make available to the public to try to get more visitors.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up. Also, you just reminded me. I just wanted to make an update because our last council meeting had a lot of members here from the lumberyard. That everything on our end from our legal department is with them. They have it. We are waiting. We have not heard anything back. But they have our position. They have it. So we're just waiting, as well as with Parkview when it comes to trash. So there's nothing pending from the borough for those neighbors that had all the comments last month. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Graham Patterson, 262 River. I'm here to, I'd like to request that the board reconsider the ban on backyard hens. It's ordinance 105-16. It's the same ordinance that doesn't allow me to have a one-ton steer in my backyard. It's a 5-pound egg laying hen. Typically, people complain about noise. A backyard hen, clocks at like 50 to 60 decibels, which is about now. And I just think we've had the ability to fence. There are other towns in the area that have sensible regulation on this, and there's tons of models out there that do this.
So thank you very much. I have a couple of follow-up questions.
Sure.
Something like this is, of course, a topic that St. Backyard can like, not drop that on the local Facebook groups. Are there others? Do you know if anyone else in the town?
They might be.
So I know that in Haddon Township, it's operated via a board. So if this is something that you would like us to consider, it is called to bring citizens, we can survey the concept of board, like an advisory group. Mandy Bailey, in Haddon Township, I know she's helped pass ordinances. But if you can see if there are others who are interested, we can take a look.
Yeah, I think, what it sounds like in the past, there was a decent amount of opposition. There's also a lot of people in favor. So organizing and being able to show what the rules indicate for us and what that resolution would look like, how it leads, or at least for, your version of it. And then we need to make sure that there is a cohort of residents who want it.
And for the towns around us that have passed this, this is often resident led, and so we would want to see that there is a massive people who would be willing to support board for inspections, that kind of thing. So I know a couple of those people still.
And the other public comment?
Some master tickets.
I want to make sure.
Wait, hold on. Hold on, there was a last minute, sorry. I am wondering what, if anything, the mayor and commissioners have heard about it was a late question about Park Ave. They didn't hear the beginning.
So the Park Ave update for still on is that some level of dirt settling has to happen, and it takes a week for the dirt to settle as a sublayer before they can come back and do the big trenches. So you might see small site work this week, but you will not see the second layer and the topping until next week. It's a county project.
Thank you.